Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be doing my mid-year book freakout tag. As I am filming this, it is June. That's halfway through the year. Mid-year, let's freak out about some books. I think there's 10 questions. I haven't done this tag in a few years, so I'm excited. But yes, I read some really great books and I've read some really not great books this year, so let's talk about them. So question number 1 is best book you've read so far in 2021. Okay, so I've talked about this book quite a lot recently on my channel, and that is The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. This is book 1 in the series. The sequel just came out, which is also a really good book, but this is definitely my favorite book of 2021 so far. I really enjoyed it. So we follow this main character named Zaru, and in this world, it is a fantasy world. Each person has a different magical ability, and your caste system is ranked based on your magical ability. So Zaru and her father are whisperers, which means they can talk to animals, but because of this, they are lower ranked, so they are pretty poor. So Zaru and her best friend Hen decide to go to the castle for one extravagant night. The reason they are going to the castle is because a big competition for the next heir is about to happen. Now, this competition involves an heir choosing a team of people so they can do a race across the desert, and at the end of the race, they have to kill a human sacrifice so they can become the next god, the next king, the next Mestra of their kingdom. And Zaru and Hen, they decide to sneak in so they can have a fun night and just live lavishly for one night. But unfortunately, Zaru gets mixed in and she becomes the human sacrifice. I really loved it. I loved Zaru in this book so much. I love the characters. There's like this kind of love triangle, which don't let that put you off, but like you love both people so very much, and they're very, very different, and you don't know what's gonna happen. I love the game aspect. I love the magical ability aspect. This is definitely my favorite book so far of 2021. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2021. So the best sequel I have read is actually the 3rd book in a series, and that is All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 3rd book in the Natural series about kids who have natural instincts and they become part of the FBI to hunt serial killers, and this 3rd book is my favorite book in the series. I gave all the books 5 out of 5 stars, but the 3rd one is my absolute favorite. I really loved it, and I think Jennifer Lynn Barnes is an absolute genius with the way she set up the crime and just her thought process and what happened in the book. It is incredible, and I absolutely love the series, especially this book. It is definitely the best sequel I have read so far this year, and one of the best I've ever read. Question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet, but you really want to. So this is hard to choose just one because I have a whole list on my phone of every release that comes out each month that I want to read, and I check them off as I read them. So I've read quite a few, and there are a few that I haven't read, so I'm just gonna mention a few right here. So first, I actually have the physical copy, and that is The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the 3rd book in the From Blood and Ash series, and I haven't read it yet, partly because it's massive, but it is an anticipated release of mine, so I will get to it soon. Another anticipated release was Better Together by Christine Riccio. This is The Parent Trap meets Freaky Friday. I loved Christine's debut book, so I cannot wait to get to this one. And one more anticipated release I'm going to mention is Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. This is Morgan Matson's newest book, and I love all of her books, and I really want to get to this one, but I have one more that I need to read before I get to this one. But yes, I love all of her books, so she's an auto-buy author for me for sure. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I have a whole calendar on my phone about book releases and when they come out, so I have quite a few. So let me hunt for my most anticipated. There might be a few, we'll see. Okay, so the first one I have to mention is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Riley Sager is another auto-buy author for me. I have read all of his books so far, and I cannot wait to read the new one. I don't even know what it's about. It's Riley Sager, so I'm going to read it. Another one is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. This is kind of piggybacking off of Riley Sager because he has The Final Girls, and this book, The Final Girl Support Group, sounds almost identical to that plot, so I am curious to read it to see if it is identical or if it's a story all on its own. It's about final girls. They have a support group. That's all you need to know. I love Grady Hendrix. I've only read one book by him, but that was my favorite book of 2020, so I am very much looking forward to this one. And of course, I have to mention a vampire book, and that is Vampires, Hearts, and Other Dead Things by Maggie Fuston. I think that's how you say her last name. It's a vampire book. I really don't know much about it. I think it's like a vampire contemporary, maybe? I really want to read it just because anytime I see vampires, I need to read it. So there's that. Question number 5 is biggest disappointment so far. So my biggest disappointment was The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan Hay. When I first saw this book, I was so excited, mainly because of the cover, but also hearing about someone looking for their long-lost sister, waking up on an island with no memories, just was really intriguing to me. Unfortunately, the story was very confusing and I was completely lost along the way, and I didn't care about any of the characters, so I was disappointed reading this one. I'm sad that I didn't buy it because the cover's so beautiful, but I'm also glad I didn't buy it because I didn't enjoy it. Question number 6 is biggest surprise. For this one, I'm gonna have to go back to The Kinder Poison by Natalie May. I was hoping to choose a different book for each question, but I have to choose this one because actually I got an arc of this book, and last year I started reading it and I only got 16 pages in, and for some reason I put it down. So when I picked it back up, I was like, I probably won't enjoy this one so much because I already put it down once and I absolutely loved it, like I already said, so it definitely surprised me and I'm really glad that I decided to pick it back up. Question number 7 is favorite new author debut or new to you? So I briefly mentioned this one earlier, but I'm gonna have to go with Riley Sager. I absolutely love his books. I think my favorite, I have a tie between two. Final Girls and Home Before Dark are my favorites. I really love all of his books though, and they definitely got me into a thriller mood because I didn't read a lot of thrillers beforehand, and now I feel myself gravitating towards thrillers all the time. If I'm not reading a thriller, I feel disappointed because I feel like I should be reading a thriller, and that's all because of Riley Sager. I really love his books and I am definitely glad I decided to pick them up this year. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. For this one, I'm gonna go with Selwyn from Legendborn. He is like the typical bad boy character that you just really, really love and you really want to see him be happy and win, and I really love him and I cannot wait to see where he goes the rest of the story and where his storyline takes him. He's one of those characters that like is made to be bad just because of his upbringing, who he is, what makes him him, but you love him anyway because he tries so hard to be good, and I just love him so much. Question number 9 is newest favorite character. I'm gonna go with Junu from Vicious Spirits. I really love him. He's another one of those that is kind of like the bad boy that tries so hard to be good, even though like it's really difficult for him, and I just really loved him. I really loved the story and I thought it was so fun, and the whole time I was just rooting for Junu so much, and he's definitely one of my newest favorite characters. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. So this one is at the bottom of a large stack of books, so I'm just going to put a picture here, and this was a reread for me, and that is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. This book always makes me cry. Oftentimes in these Shadowhunter books, if they mention a past character, if they just mention their name, I'll start crying. But this book I think is the saddest Shadowhunter book, and so I cry every single time even though I know what's coming. But yes, definitely cried reading this one. I was doing a puzzle when I cried. It's fine. I made it through. Very sad. So I lied, there's actually 13 questions, not 10, so we have 3 more. Question number 11, book that made you happy. For this one, I'm gonna go with Sunkissed by Casey West. This is just a cutesy contemporary. I just think that her books are so much fun. They always make me happy. If you're not a contemporary fan, if you're not like a cliche kind of fan, you're probably not gonna like her books, but her books always make me so happy and just make me feel really good. And this was her newest book that came out this year. Once again, was not disappointed. I was very happy reading it. Question number 12, most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. So the most beautiful book for me is Happiness Volume 4 by Shuzo Oshimi. I love the art style in this manga series so much. It is one of my favorite manga series. It's about vampires. Of course I love it. But this cover is my absolute favorite. I really love it. I think it is absolutely stunning, and not to mention the artwork inside is also stunning as well. And question number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Okay, I have so many books that I need to read by the end of this year, but there is one that has been on my TBR the absolute longest since I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and that is Aragon by Christopher Paolini. This is about dragons. I've had this book forever. I've mentioned before, this is kind of my nemesis because I feel like it just laughs at me now because every time I say I'm gonna read it, I know the book is like, no, you're not. So I definitely need to get to it by the end of the year. I am so tired of putting it on yearly and monthly TBRs. I just need to finish it, or just pick it up at all. I haven't even started. I don't know why I said finish it. I just need to start it. Like, that is my first goal, is to start Aragon. Okay, so that is it for my mid-year book freakout tag. Please let me know your favorite book that you have read so far in 2021. I would love to get new recommendations or chat about some of our favorite books. But that is it for this video. As always, my social media links will be down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!